All right, let's get right into it. If you've ever looked at a beautiful succulent and thought, I'm going to kill that thing, then you've come to the right place. Today, we're going to totally demystify succulent care. We're unlocking the simple secrets to making these incredible plants not just survive, but actually thrive. I mean, does this hit a little too close to home? This is a real quote from a plant forum online, but honestly, it could be from any of us. It's that feeling, right? That frustration when you've tried everything. Watering more, watering less, giving it more sun, and nothing works. But I promise you, you don't have a black thumb. There's a very simple reason this keeps happening. And that brings us right to our first topic, the succulent struggle. We are going to get to the bottom of why those leaves get all squishy or wrinkly, and why these plants, which are supposed to be so tough, often end up in the plant graveyard. So here it is, the big one. Pretty much all of those problems, the mushy leaves, the wilting, the whole sad scene, it all comes back to one single devastating issue: root rot. See, a succulent stores water in its leaves, but when its roots are sitting in soggy soil for too long, they literally can't breathe. They basically drowned, and then they start to rot away. Okay, so that's the real question, isn't it? If overwatering's a problem, what's the condition that makes it so darn easy to overwater? The answer has less to do with how much water you use and everything to do with what happens after the water hits the pot. And that leads us to the biggest secret of all. And here we are at our next section, the secret in the soil. Yep, the answer is literally right there, under the surface. Because it's all about giving your plant the right kind of home to live in. Just look at this breakdown. Traditional potting soil, think of it like a sponge. It's made to soak up and hold on to water for thirsty houseplants and flowers. But for a succulent, that's a total death sentence. Succulents evolved in dry, arid places. They need soil that lets water rush right on through, leaving things just a little moist, but never, ever soggy. It's got to be light and airy so those roots can breathe. And you know what the best part is? You do not have to go hunting for some fancy, expensive bag of cactus mix at the store. In fact, making your own is way cheaper, it's faster, and you end up with the absolute perfect soil for your succulents every single time. So let's get our hands dirty, well, figuratively anyway. This is your super simple, totally foolproof recipe for happy succulent roots. See, it's brilliantly simple. Just remember this little ratio: 3, 2, 1. That's it. 3 parts of any basic potting soil, that's for your nutrients. 2 parts of coarse sand, think playground sand, that's for drainage. And 1 part perlite. You know those little white floaty rocks? They're basically puffed volcanic glass, and they're amazing for keeping the soil from getting packed down and heavy. And putting it all together is just as easy as it sounds. You gather your 3 things, you dump them all into a bucket using that 3-to-1 ratio, and you just mix it all up with your hands. Seriously, that's it. In like 5 minutes, you've got a huge batch of the world's best succulent soil ready to go. Okay, so you've just mastered the single most important part of succulent care. You've got the foundation down. So now for the really, really fun part, using what you know to make an endless supply of new plants, completely for free. Welcome to Propagation 101. And yeah, I said free plants. Propagation is just a fancy word for making new baby plants from pieces of a bigger one. And with succulents, it is one of the coolest, most rewarding, and surprisingly easy things you can do. But wait, before you gently twist a leaf off your favorite succulent, there is one non-negotiable, absolutely critical step. If you get this one thing right, you are practically guaranteed to succeed. Get it wrong and, well, you're heading straight back to Rotville. You have got to let your cutting callus over. Think of it like a scab. When you take a leaf off the plant, you're creating a little open wound. If you stick that fresh wound into soil and water it, rot is going to set in almost immediately. But if you just let it sit out in a dry spot for a day or two, that cut end will dry up and form a tough little seal. Then it's ready to go. So, once it's calloused, you've got options. My personal favorite is the soil method. You just lay the leaves right on top of your dry DIY mix. It's so cool because you get to watch the tiny pink roots and baby leaves start to form. Then there's the air method. This is the ultimate lazy gardener's trick. You literally just leave them on a tray and they'll start growing roots out of thin air. Just pop them in soil once they do. And finally, water propagation. Now this can work, but you know, succulents and standing water are a risky mix. The key is to suspend the cutting just above the water, so the roots have to reach for it. So now you have the soil recipe.
You know all the tricks for propagation, but there is one last piece to this puzzle, and it's got nothing to do with soil or water or sun. It has everything to do with you.
Let's talk about the gardener's mindset. These are 3 little principles that will get you through pretty much any plant challenge and make this whole thing way more fun. First, and this one is huge, patience. Propagation is a waiting game. Succulents are not in a hurry. You might see roots sprout in a couple weeks, or it might take a couple of months. Just don't give up on them. Trust that the little plant knows exactly what it's doing. Next up, confidence. I heard this great story about a planter that was a complete disaster. We're talking rot, pests, the works. The person who owned it was sure it was all a lost cause. But she took some cuttings, followed the steps, and 2 months later, every single piece had grown into a perfect new plant. All that worry was for nothing. So trust the process. Have confidence that it's gonna work. And finally, forgiveness. Look, let's just be real for a second. Some of your props just aren't gonna make it, and that is 100% okay. It's not a failure. It's an experiment. Your self-worth is not tied to the survival of a tiny leaf. So forgive the ones that don't work out. And whatever you do, don't let it stop you from trying again.
So, let's just do a super quick recap of the secrets we learned today. Number 1, that well-draining soil is everything. Number 2, your perfect DIY mix is that easy 3-2-1 recipe. Number 3, always let your cuttings callus over first. And finally, number 4, embrace that gardener's mindset of patience, confidence, and forgiveness. And that's it. You have all the knowledge you need. You have the secrets to being a fantastic succulent grower. The only question left is, what amazing new plants are you going to grow next?